Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the final day of the winter season final. This is Night of Misfortune, and I will be bringing you 5 amazing games today, hopefully. I have no doubt because we have 8 of the greatest players left in this tournament, and I'm very excited. I am joined by somebody who you might not have heard on my channel before. It is Scotty. Scotty, say hello.
Hey, my dudes.
Uh, Scotty, you do a lot of casting. So do you want to tell us who you are, where we can find you, and what you like to
Uh,
cast?
yes, well, I like to cast mainly on YouTube. I occasionally do some streaming. You can find my channel when he uploads is in the description of the YouTube video. But I go on Anis Productions Entertainment. That is my channel. So you can go on there, have a look at my casts. And I also cast some other games as well. That's basically it. My Twitch is Mod Productions. So in case you want to amazingly follow me there, that's great. And yeah, that's it.
All right, awesome. Well, glad to have you here. We have 2 amazing players here today in the quarterfinal number 2 match. We can't bring you all the quarterfinals because of time issues. But of course, we are bringing you one of the best matches, and we'll talk about it in a second. First, let's introduce our players, starting with the player on the bottom left-hand side of your screen. It is your blue Cyber Commander already getting bombed. It is Iron Commander. And Scotty, who is on the other side of the map?
Well, we have a white Aeon, and that is going to be FoxTermelon, who's going for an air and land opener, it seems.
Yeah, so no TML this time around, which I am kind of surprised by, but there was a tournament that we cast. I believe it was the very first Serpents Open this year that Iron just hard countered that TML very, very hard. So we'll see what FoxTermelon decides to do. Obviously, that first deviation is there, and an anti-air tower coming up for Iron.
All right, and FoxTermelon is also going for double land there, so he's contributing to a lot of land forces. He's probably going to be defending his base from this attack coming from Iron, and he's already putting down an anti-air tower. So I think Iron's probably feeling quite confident that he's going to be doing a better damage to FoxTermelon before he has to tech up and things. Because FoxTermelon hasn't really got much on the field right now. Iron has got a lot more units. But he was building a point defense, which was cancelled, I believe. But I don't know how this attack is going to go exactly. The ACU is going on its own towards the base, right in front. I'm not sure about this play at all. Completely undefended at the moment. I mean, this could go both ways. He could lose this dramatically, or he could actually this could actually be pretty okay. I mean, he could probably point defense push into his base a little bit. But I'm not too sure exactly. It's a little too early to tell at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, Aeon does have that longer range point defense, so it is a little bit more difficult, but it looks like Iron is going to try and go around. I'm not sure that that's the correct choice here. One thing that I want to point out here really quickly is an interesting expansion pattern by FoxTermelon. He's going straight to the back, not really worried about those outlying mass extractors near his main base, which is very interesting. And Iron does end up backing up here. I think that's the correct choice. You don't want to be caught there in the back, cut off from your reinforcements by FoxTermelon, who's great at micro. And I think he's just going to wait here until he has enough tanks, and then he really does start to excel with his micro. Oh, but you know what Iron Commander excels at? Flanking. There we go. We already see it going on, and I think that's the correct choice here. Unfortunately, there's planes that are going to bomb that.
Yeah, and there really aren't many structures. If he was able to flank, there aren't many high-value structures, like at the back or at the sides of the base. There are a few mass extractors, like all the way over here, near towards the back of FoxTermelon, but FoxTermelon hasn't really expanded too much, so there aren't too many valuable buildings that Iron can kill. But speaking of which, FoxTermelon is actually managing to get rid of that little flanking maneuver, although I think one of the mass extractors might go down. I don't think so, but I mean, it could. And at the front here, at the front, he's managed to defend the base from Iron Commander, and Iron Commander suffered some quite a bit of damage from that defense there.
Yeah, I mean, if Iron splits, I think he can do quite a bit of damage with those 4 bots. Unfortunately, now it's cut down to 1, but he did take out that mass extractor, and that's honestly a pretty big deal. I like that trade, 4 bots. Well, actually, it's 6 bots, so that's cutting it close there. But doing a nice job so far. What I'm concerned about is his expansion capabilities. He sent his engineer, again, with an interesting expansion pattern all the way to the back of Iskellian coast here to build on that second spawn point, and that might have really hindered his expansion. I'm not really sure quite why he chose to do that. I'm guessing because of FoxTermelon's capability of hovering and the air as well. Kind of maybe a little bit of mind games going on here, trying to put it back, and he's actually queuing up an air factory. That is very curious to me. I'm really not sure. And one thing that I do want to point out is that this is Iron's pick, and I was completely blown away why he would pick this map, because this map is not is obviously, first of all, Aeon favored, and this is one of FoxTermelon's favorite maps to play on. I think he's prepared the most for this map, so it's very, very curious to see. And then curiously, FoxTermelon picks Shiva Prime, which is, I think, a Cybern map. So I'm just all kinds of confused about these map picks. But we'll definitely see how what Iron has prepared for this map.
Yes, and to be honest, I think even though FoxTermelon has got some more units out, I think if, you said Iron's great at micro, so perhaps if you wanted to take a little bit of a risk, you could try and go for the air factory and eliminate Fox's ability to build air, which would be a nice touch there, to be honest. But at the same time, FoxTermelon has already got some air units out there as well. He's managing to defend with just land at the moment, so Fox could try and go and flank Iron's base. It would be a bit of a risky move again for him, but he could try and take out a mass or an energy, and that'll definitely slow Iron down to probably to the point where Fox could match the production of Iron and push him back into his own base. I think that might be a good plan, but I'm honestly not sure. There's a lot going off the bridge though, so perhaps he might not need it.
Yeah, such high-level play here already. You can see these two players. As soon as that anti-air tower goes down, FoxTermelon moves his Weedaboffs in for a bombing run. Just absolutely great, and a nice split by Iron Commander, preventing a lot of damage going off. Unfortunately, he can't quite deal with those. Oh, just as I say that, FoxTermelon mismicros a bit and eats a bunch of MML fire to the face and loses one of those MMLs.
That's going to be quite good for him. I mean, the radar did actually get taken out, so that's going to hinder Iron's ability to be able to see anything. There's quite a lot of units on the bridge, though, so it'll be a little difficult at the moment to try and get rid of them. But I think the good play here is to probably get some MMLs, possibly, because there are a lot of ground units, and the MMLs do really well at clearing them out. But obviously, it's also a good plan because Iron Commander hasn't got any air at the moment, so that's going to be a pretty good thing. Although now adapters are coming out, so I'm not sure about that play at the moment. And they've also got anti-air, which means they'll also be able to get the missiles and other projectiles. So this could possibly be a good thing for Iron. He's now getting the shields, which will protect his forces, and he might be able to push up once they arrive. So this is going to be very interesting, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a little surprising to me that Iron Commander has only now gone with Brackman. I think he was really trying to rely on that early push, but unfortunately it didn't pan out. I would have liked to see a couple more Brackman earlier on, but I think right now the numbers are fine. A lot of Cybern units are going down to these tanks, but a lot of tanks are also in the red here or the white. There's a bombing run coming in, getting only 1 unit. Wow, that's a surprising thing there. Nice split by Iron Commander. Again, really crazy micro. And Iron is going to push this into a point defense. Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea there.
What I am surprised about is that he didn't target the engineer, because if he did with the bombers, then he could send the units into the ACU while there weren't any shields. So he could have probably done a huge amount of damage towards the ACU, and he could get up some more forces and stuff. But I think that was a little bit of a missed opportunity there, because now he's going to build a land factory around the bridge, and I think that could be a little dangerous for Iron. I mean, he's got a very important structure here, and although he could actually use that to push again into the base, but I don't think that's going to be too successful. We've already got a couple of point defense in front of one of the land factories, and we've got shields on them as well. So I'm not too sure about that play, but yeah, I think that FoxTermelon missed an opportunity, killing the engineer and then doing some damage to the ACU. Because now Iron is able to get just to mass up the units, and now he's building a fifth one, so he's just going to be able to spam like loyalists and adapters and things, and he might be able to get the firepower that he needs to push into the base. That's if FoxTermelon doesn't get the teleportation, because if he does, then it's probably equal playing field again. So yeah, this is basically a stalemate at the moment until one player can get more tech than the other.
Now, an interesting thing that I'm just this game is so cool. Besides the stuff that's going on in the front, there's so many new things that are going on. Iron Commander is queuing up a bunch of air factories, and actually FoxTermelon had a row of air factories queued up there in the back also, but I think he decided to cancel it right after he saw the air, and kind of seeing that he probably won't catch up, seeing that there's so much air from Iron Commander compared to what he had, and him losing a couple of his own. And I really do like the look of this blob coming out from Iron Commander. It's forming into that Cybran Dev ball, but as always, you cannot discount the power of a wonderful thing called teleport, which I say sarcastically. But nevertheless, Iron Commander has to have at least unit detonate or structure detonate. I think it's going to be the latter, because he's putting down some point defenses in, I think, very defensive positions, indicating more of structure detonate. Because again, I don't think he would be going point defenses without wanting to use that ability.
Yeah, and although, yeah, we've got the Iron with the structure detonate, and there's a teleport from FoxTermelon as well. I mean, this could go both either ways. I was thinking that because FoxTermelon was getting close to the base that Iron made on the bridge, I thought he was just going to take that out with the teleport, but it seems that he's taking priority over these units, which, fair enough. I mean, that's going to cause a lot of damage if you don't deal with them. But now that Iron sent basically all his force there, it was leaving him very vulnerable. But you just got to have to take that chance and try and defend and let that opportunity slip by. And now he's got an air as well, which I think is going to be a big problem, because there's not a lot of anti-air for FoxTermelon. He's been mostly focusing on land right now. So I'm not too sure what else he can do. I mean, he hasn't got shields yet, which would definitely help him with the land-to-land engagements here. But other than that, I think he just needs to put more anti-air and just become more of a turtle, unless Iron Commander could present an opportunity for his opponent. But yeah, that's all I can see this happening. I don't know if it'll be a stretch to say experimentals might be a thing he should consider. I think either a player should consider, because they would at least block the deadlock at the bridge here.
I actually very much disagree with Iron's choice here. I think it's a big tactical error to go for a flank like that, with teleport being a big possibility, and he just ended up losing, I think, a little too much. Of course, a structure detonate is going to help him out here with a direct frontal assault, but the problem will be is what FoxTermelon really likes to do. Instead of going head on, he actually likes to teleport around the base, and that is going to be a huge issue to deal with. And you can already see him teleporting onto that water and to set up a little bit of a flank here. So this is going to be very difficult for Iron to deal with, even with that air. And he also was a little bit late to start utilizing his air. I think he could have been bombing some mass extractors. I don't think the priority should have been the land forces there from FoxTermelon. And unfortunately now FoxTermelon just has way too many units. And even if Iron had units to deal with this, which he, I guess, kind of does, he doesn't have the mobility to be able to deal with them in an effective manner here.
Yeah, and now that because of all the structures being clumped on the bridge, this creates an opportunity for Fox to go inside the base, which I think is actually a really good play. Even with all the bombers and everything, Fox will be able to do a lot of damage here. As you can see, the land factory is getting destroyed, which will severely cut down the unit production. And I think this could potentially be an opening for Fox to just swarm the base on the bridge with units, because, as you said, there are loads of units that Fox has made now. now that the production's been cut, especially, it's not looking like that Iron's going to be able to deal with this many tanks and stuff, especially when they've got teleport. They can just safely teleport to the water after they've done and swoop back onto the bridge and destroy the outpost. Although he has got shields, but just not many of them. So I don't think it would, even with the shields, would last very long. Because Fox has got a lot of artillery on the field, a few Fitushis, a lot of Yenzus. So yeah, there's going to be probably a game for Fox, because there's a lot of damage on that main base there.
Yeah, and I mean, if he does deal with this blob, which I think he will eventually, I mean, that's just a lot of damage dealt, and he won't be able to replenish his forces as fast. And now Fox is feeling even confident enough to transition back into air, building an air factory there with an engineer in his main base. Actually, curiously, Fox decides not to push forward with that flanking blob, which is very curious. And Iron does have an engineer to rebuild this base, so maybe he stabilizes here. The unfortunate part is that he only has one research station right now on the field. And I mean, this air can sort of equalize the damage dealt. Obviously not to the main base. Nice bombing run, by the way. Those bombs flying across the map thanks to that teleport. He can take a lot of these mass extractors out, which I think he should absolutely do. But the issue is those vetted mass extractors that he's lost is going to be harder to replace, I think.
And unfortunately, because he's being under attack and he's not got the mass, I don't think he's able to get like the crashed mass that's routed into the base. I honestly think this is too much pressure for Iron to deal with. He's got a lot of forces in the base at the moment, but they're all clumped together, so that means that the MML units could do quite a bit of damage. And there's the teleport on the water here, which I think is going to provide a nice opportunity for him to get some damage in. And I think that's going to be it, to be honest. There's just too much pressure on the bridge.
Yeah, I mean, FoxTermelon will be careful. There is a structure detonate going on, but those shields are very, very strong against it. FoxTermelon's micro here is incredible, as always. And yeah, I like the idea from Iron Commander. It's just the water teleportation around the water is very hard to deal with if you don't have longer ranged units or a megalith or something like that by the time the teleport comes out. So yeah, I mean, a curious map choice by Iron Commander. I do think he has way more chances on other maps, and again, I'm just blown away by his decision to go Iskellian Coast first. But maybe he wanted to play some mind games. There's shields now making their way out for FoxTermelon. Completely unnecessary. And it looks like Iron is actually going to continue to try here, which I think he still has a tiny chance. I mean, maybe FoxTermelon walks into Brackman Fire. That wouldn't be actually a first for him. Despite how great his micro is at times, he still sometimes walks into Brackman Fire inexplicably. I think we all do, because Brackman are OP. But yeah, so we'll see. But this is going to be a very difficult game for our Cyber Commander to come back from.
Yeah, I don't honestly see how he's going to come back from this. We have a lot of land factories being trained in the spawn area. That's quite a lot. I think that's what he's just doing. He's just trying to push land units into the base again, which I don't think is now going to work, because the first and second times he tried to do that, even with the flanking, it didn't really do very much. He only got one mass extractor, and Fox has managed to hold thus far. So
ooh, nice structure detonate there.
Oh yeah, that was actually quite juicy. But yeah, I don't think that this would actually be very effective. And now we've also got some teleportation from Fox, so I don't think that he'd be able to push with any of these land factories. The best he can do is try and defend himself, and then Fox would be the one attacking him all the time. And this leaves Fox with some mass from his opponent as well, so he'll be able to do basically whatever he wants now that he's pinned pinned Iron back into his spawn position, to be honest.
Well, I will say here that FoxTermelon is, I think, choosing very interesting things to build right now. He's teched into shields and built a lot of point defenses, which is completely not needed right now. So his push is going to be a little slower than what I think he could be doing. I do like this flank again on the back base. That's going to be very hard to deal with, especially with anti-air and maybe potential air coming here. But although Fox is not really moving his air back yet, So this is going to be eventually dealt with, and another push is probably at least a minute or two away. So if Iron is able to get up all these land factories and is able to sustainably produce from them, and maybe gets jump jets and unit detonate, that is a whole different game that we're playing. And you know, the air is now is a little bit of a concern to me. Because FoxTermelon is transitioning full-heartedly into it, and Iron has lost his expansion here in the back. So that is another long-term problem, but I think Iron Commander has actually, for the time being, stabilized here somewhat.
Yeah, at least for now. He's not going to be dead too quickly. But the thing I will say is that a lot of his base is now spread out, so they'll have to focus on 2 different areas at once. I mean, FoxTermelon has also gone for the back area as well. He's going to be spamming a lot of air from those factories there, but I think they'll help him more than what Iron did. I mean, he had a few air factories, but now they're dead. And I think Fox will be able to quickly accumulate enough fighters to be able to eliminate what Iron has at the moment. I'm not sure about this push coming from Iron here. I'm not too sure what he's trying to accomplish. I mean, he hasn't even got an ACU. He's just units at the moment. It might be an attempt to try and prevent Fox from getting the mass, which is a little surprising that he hasn't got it already. I mean, there's nothing that threatened him before from it just vanishing. But I think now that he might have lost that opportunity. I'm not too.
There's the jump jet. And this unit detonate, beautiful, and that is exactly what I mean. And I would agree with you there, Scotty. I don't know why he's pushing out. I think maybe he was trying to utilize that unit data. But the commander is not needed there. It's actually too big of a risk to send it like right now. Nice split on the units. Those adapters will do some work. But we already have flares on those Weedu buffs. Goodness me.
Wow, yeah, that is actually quite insane. And another unit detonate round the back of the base there. That's a lot of Aeon forces that's just been decapitated. Yeah, and these forces at the bridge here, they're not really going to be useful unless they manage to jump jet in and try and do a unit detonate to get rid of the air factories. Other than that, they'll just be bombed to death, and it's going to be quite useless for their. Yeah, they're just not going to be able to do anything. So yeah, I think I may have lost an opportunity here, and I think Fox might be able to go for another pass here. There we go. We've got a mass extractor being destroyed. I think he might be able to eliminate all of these land factories as well. We've got quite a lot of units scrambling to try and defend the base, and another mass extractor may go down. It's almost killed already, and we've got a lot of loyalists coming towards this area. And here comes an experimental, which I don't know if I think this could or would be detrimental, or it could save him. I don't necessarily know. He's not got too many units to defend it, but if he got enough, I suppose he could. I mean, megaliths on the bridge here towards FoxTermelon's base could actually do a lot of damage, but then there's the air to deal with. He needs to put like a lot of adapters out with it, but I mean, it could help. But it might take a little too long. Fox might have already made his move and went into the base and killed everything, so I'm honestly not too sure how this can go.
Yeah, I mean, the air from Iron there just melted away. Like, I was blown away. Holy crap. Fox was bombing, so I thought Iron was going to get a decent engagement. I didn't think he would win it, but his air just, like, vaporized in 2 seconds, literally. It was insane. And if this is a bomb bouncer, I actually wouldn't dislike it, but at this point, man, Iron just lost too much. That early flanking teleport is just so strong in this map again. And I've said it already, what I think about this map choice from Iron, but I really do think that was a huge mistake. And also the flank that he did there early mid-game.
Yeah, that was
completely a missed.
Very effective.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So yeah, I think another few teleports would definitely do a lot more damage. I mean, there's like an entire base here. I think the fighters should head over there and try and eliminate this energy and mass here. That'll be very good. I think that's what they're doing right now, because there's an entire undefended base here, so they'll be able to do a lot of damage here, and I think that's what they're going to do. Yeah. So that's going to be definitely detrimental for Iron, and again, a nice cut-off of resources So I'm not actually sure what Iron's options are right now, because he hasn't got enough units to try and unit detto the entire base here, but he hasn't got enough production to try and defend himself properly, because FoxTermelon has a lot of tanks out right now, and he's also got a lot of air forces, so it's almost looking like Fox can just teleport in and just basically just use all of his units on that one base of Irons, and that'll just be game over. Even the experimentals won't even save him.
Well, I will say that Iron is jumping on the sex train bandwagon here and building a T-Rex, half baking it.
Oh man, titty T-Rex, man.
I don't know why.
Don't think that's actually what you should be building. I think a megalith would probably be the best choice at the moment.
A bomb bouncer. A bomb
building...
bouncer would be perfect against teleport, and it would be perfect against air. I think a lot of players need to look at this option seriously, and I think T-Rexes are cool against land. I think teleport, yeah, it does well.
Wow,
not obviously half baked. Yeah, so it's gonna get frozen. But,
and it's already taken a lot of damage, and that's quite. I think he's just building it for the memes, and it's not really a tactical advantage here, to be fair. And the bombers will probably get it, although that's a lot of adapters here.
I mean, it is good against teleporting tanks. It is good against land blobs, but it's just this air is what's the problem right now.
Yeah, I don't think he's got. Well, he's got a lot of adapters, but that's it. And that's not going to be very effective if the air is paired with the land units, which is going to be happening very shortly. So this is probably going to be the last push that Iron's going to make here. The last attempt at defense. Once this force is down of Irons, that's game over, because he's got nothing else on the field.
As Spiff would say, this is the last hurrah from our Cybran player. And
he's taking a lot of hits here. I mean, this basically Fox just outnumbers him 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, that T-Rex unfortunately does get frozen quite a bit, which limits its DPS, although it is still doing a crazy amount of damage. Fox actually doesn't finish it, but now there is like no land forces left for our Iron Commander. And unfortunately, I think this is going to be a 1-0 lead for FoxTermelon. But if anybody can pull it back, it is, of course, Iron Commander. And I hope he can show us a little bit of a better tactical game on Shiva Prime. I do think it's more of a Cybran map, but FoxTermelon actually has a pretty good record on that map. We'll talk about it here pretty soon. There's another bombing run coming in, and there's going to be a teleport, I imagine, here pretty soon, which is going to seal the deal for our player from Russia. And strong opening from FoxTermelon, as always. Very, very solid play.
Yeah, I mean, that would have worked, but I think Fox was being too defensive for Iron's liking. I mean, he wasn't able to penetrate the base early game, and I think that's what did it for him. He was spending too much money on building units to try and get into his base, and then he neglected to build up his own defenses for when the air came. So, yeah, I think that's where one of the bits he went wrong. Yeah. But there we go. GG's to FoxTermelon for winning that game there.
That is game one, ladies and gentlemen. That was a 30-minute game. We're going to reset here. I'm going to fix the overlay because it's not Spiff that's casting. It is, of course, Scotty. And we'll be back here in just a few moments. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to our quarterfinal number 2 match. I fixed the overlay. That was so wrong. Like, this is a great morning, guys. I'm just so overwhelmed by the type of game we starting off here in the very first match. Absolutely crazy. This could be a final on its own. But I'll try to talk about that in just a second. After we introduce our players, I'm joined by Scotty or AP Productions. Scotty, please introduce our first player.
Yes, I am the Epic Anis Productions, or Scotty McScottface. You may know me in the games. And I will be co-casting with Nite on this game, which is going to be on Shiva Prime as well.
Who's our first player?
All right, our first player is going to be Iron Commander, and he's going to be a green Cybran Commander. He's going to be going an air opener, which is exactly what you want to do. This is a very big map. And we've got, I'll just do the other one as well. We have FoxTermelon as his opponent, and he's going to be a white Aeon Commander, who's also going to be going air.
All right, so fairly standard, I think. Well, actually, Cybern might not necessarily need to go air. I actually don't like that a whole lot. Although somehow Iron is currently out spamming FoxTermelon off one air factory. I think that was much earlier air factory. But I did want to say really quickly is I kind of teased this match as we can't have a tournament without a FoxTermelon versus Iron Commander fight. And I didn't realize, I was kind of half joking about that, but I didn't realize that these players have actually met in every single event, SCS event that we have run since Iron came back. So they have a huge record, and FoxTermelon does have a narrow lead thanks to 2 early wins in tournaments, but Iron has the most recent win in the league. But FoxTermelon has been a little bit of a kryptonite for Iron Commander, and I think it is the only real threat. Well, I can't say the only real threat, but is I think the biggest threat for Iron Commander, which is very, very curious considering what level of players we have playing in this tournament.
Yeah, are you only saying it's kryptonite because Iron Commander's green and he's the green kryptonite? You know, the green kind of color?
Well, no, it would be the other way because a FoxTermelon is Iron's kryptonite.
Yeah, but still, I thought it was pretty funny. Anyway, yeah, I think this match will probably be favored for the player who's probably going to be taking the empty position here, which I think Iron is going to make a beeline for very early in the game, which probably could be good. But at the same time, if FoxTermelon attacks his base right now, this will be very bad for him because his forces are very split. So it's got good and bad elements about it. And yeah, I think because of the extra resources, Iron might gain an early advantage in the early game, and he might even go for a push like he did for the first game. But I don't think it'll be very good, especially seeing as this map is bigger than the last one. So we'll just have to see what goes on.
I do like what Iron is doing so far a lot, and yeah, especially as that first adapter rolls off. He's kind of taken the air control early on, and now he's really taking control of the map because he has that air advantage. And that is just a little, not a mind game, but I guess a build order for sure that Iron has prepared here, and I think this is exactly what he needed. And maybe I would even like him stop air production, which is actually what he is doing. Oh my goodness, I'm a little worried about flares, but that's a little far away, so we'll see exactly what Iron Commander will choose to do. If he chooses to press on, which he is, I really, really like that, because with those 3 adapters, that actually is a very strong push, but there is starting to amount a considerable amount of air here. Not really sure about the scout, because that's just going to lose you a Gemini here really, really quick, and I would say unnecessarily. Because what did he really gain there? There isn't really much scouting information to be had there. Yeah, he's pulling back now.
Oh, that's good at least. We might have a little bit of a turf war going on over here because the engineer is going to be putting down a radar and may even be venturing into the expansion of Iron Commander, which I think is going to be a little bit of an exciting times here. But Iron Commander looking very strong right now. We've got a few fighters, few Voodoo Boths, I think that's how you pronounce them, from Fox here. They won't be doing too much, but at the same time, he's got more fighters. But I think actually the adapters will probably do a very hefty amount of damage towards these aircraft.
Yeah, the adapters are what matter.
Yeah, I think he'll probably be able to go straight onto the base if he's feeling really confident, which could definitely be a possibility here because that early game was actually really, really strong. He's got 5 adapters out now, so FoxTermelon needs to quickly switch to land to try and defend and maybe put a point defense. But we'll see. I don't think point defense is that necessary. He just needs a few tanks in his ACU and then it'll be done. But now he's having to defend again, which will slow him down on the expansions here.
Oh my goodness, this is insane. I mean, both of these players are just, I think, making absolute correct decisions here. FoxTermelon, seeing that he can't really engage head-on, was trying to send his planes back to harass the expansion from Iron Commander, and Iron Commander using his air in response to harass the expansion from FoxTermelon. Absolutely incredible, absolutely great little things that do matter, guys. And that first mass extractor does fall. I don't like these clumped units. Iron Commander, please split. No, split.
It's not splitting. Oh dear. Ouch.
Oh, okay. Well, that could have been worse. Only one unit falls there. Actually, this is going to end up probably being a decent trade. No, there's already shields on those air units, so he's not going to lose much here. But yeah, we have a beeline towards, of course, flares, which is going to be very, very strong.
Yeah, I think possibly the better thing for Fox to do is maybe needing to get shields, although I don't know if shields would actually be very good versus flares, especially seeing as Iron Commander has taken more of the map than his opponent. So yeah, it's looking very strong for Iron at the moment, and he's probably going to be having a huge advantage over the course of this game. But he's not. Is some of these positions, some of these mass positions. I mean, he's not taken them. Neither player has. But I don't think they're too necessary right now.
Iron split, my man. Come on. You can do it. I've seen you do it a million times. I do like this follow-up of a double air factory. That's kind of tricky, but Aeon flares are just so good. And Fox is going to scout this. There's no anti-air here, so he can just park himself on top of that air production. There's an anti-air tower coming online. Ooh,
Yeah,
that's a
he's
little
not
bit of an
actually
error,
done
micro
anything,
mistake.
unfortunately. Yeah.
Oof. Okay, well, Fox just loses 2 fighters out of nowhere.
And Fox is also going double land, which is a little strange, to be honest. He's putting a lot of money into production. I don't know if he's wanting to head on Iron on the land side of things, on the land forces to try and take this expansion. I'm not too sure exactly. Because if he is, I wouldn't really go too well because Iron also has air, which will definitely do something against these ground units. But, seeing as they're all the way over there, if he keeps the air units distracted, he could possibly try and sneak some land units in, but I don't know exactly. There's also this mass that he has to collect up as well that he could try and do.
And, it's hard to tell with Supreme Commander not having caster control of vision that they see. But I don't think that FoxTermelon actually saw those 2 new air factories that Iron has built. That is, I think, might be an important factor here, although he is throwing down a 3rd air factory. Maybe he can kind of tell based on how much air he's been seeing. But this is curious because he's splitting his efforts between the 2, and I think maybe that's what Iron is kind of counting on here. He's trying to split Fox's kind of control, which I think is honestly a good plan because Fox, in what I've seen, he tends to go either one or the other. I haven't seen, to be completely honest with you, too strong of games from him when he is elected to go a mix of these strategies. So we'll see what happens here. Air has equated here for the time being. I do want to see Iron being a little careful with these reinforcements because if they start getting picked off, that is actually going to be a quick way to lose the air fight and obviously map control. So that is very important for Iron to keep. You absolutely have to keep air control here. Why do you engage there? I don't think that's the correct decision.
No, but he's going to be losing a lot of fighters in that engagement. And yeah, I mean, if he manages to split the units off into different areas on the map, I generally think that makes the player's defense weaker because then those smaller clumps will be easier to deal with. But they're all over the center of the map here. I'm not exactly sure who's winning. I think Iron is just winning. I think
Iron actually won that air fight. Surprisingly, wow. FoxTermelon keeps losing air fights, guys. And actually, the land fight is not looking too great either because FoxTermelon elected to go air upgrades. So that air fight is probably going to be Iron's because I don't think he's pumped his air quite as much as FoxTermelon. And yeah, FoxTermelon loses the air fight and the land fight. This is looking great for our Cyber Commander.
There comes some more factories from FoxTermelon, and I honestly think it's a little late for that, but, because of this massive production boost, you might be able to push him away a little bit. But that looked really dangerous there for a second with those units pushing in there. And he does actually, Iron actually goes for the expansion, not being able to penetrate the main base, which is actually a very good play here. We'll be getting rid of that land factory, I think that was being built there, and the mass extractors. So that's very good. I mean, if he gets the other 2 further along the right there, that'll definitely help him. And probably will win in the game if everything goes to plan.
That is absolutely the correct decision. That is what I keep telling everybody in my casts. Move your air, utilize it. If you can't push straight on, which is not always the smartest idea because oftentimes you want to play a nice, safe game, just utilize your air advantage to bomb. Exactly what Iron Commander is doing. It takes some vision, it takes some experience. I am not going to deny that, but if you start thinking about it like they do, you will improve your game and you will definitely see better results in your own gameplay. There's point defenses, the crowning jewel of FoxTermelon's strategy. Point defenses coming online. It looks like maybe he's trying a last-ditch effort here. There's some anti-air supporting this, but no ground forces. I think Iron can just engage this straight on. And,
yeah, I think this point defense push is actually very dangerous here. Look at that. That just gets taken out very easily. And now this ACU is very undefended. He's not got any sort of shields or anything. So all Iron can do is just kill the ACU. He just doesn't need to focus down on anything else. He's got a lot of bombers out right now. Oh no, what are you doing? FoxTermelon, what are you doing? Sending your ACU into the enemy units. Oh my god. That was almost very bad for him. I mean, it still is. He's not being protected. I think he might lose this game, actually. It's just being isolated out on this bridge.
I think Iron Commander should prioritize that point defense. That's really the only thing that's preventing him from pushing in further here. But Iron has taken over the map. Just look at all those expansions, forcing FoxTermelon to build just a ton of anti-air. Actually, I think FoxTermelon is just a little bit of mismanaging his production there, queuing up just a little too many anti-air stations there in the back. But there's going to be another engagement, which is actually even better for Iron Commander, and he has the advantage in numbers. So I really think this is looking absolutely like a dream scenario for our green Cybern. And who knows, maybe that's all that Cybern or Iron has needed. Maybe he just doesn't do too well in his blue color. Maybe he needs to channel the power of the Irish to kill this Russian imposter.
Yeah, he's got the four-leaf clover behind him, backing his forces. There goes down on Anfactory, and again, the ACU is going to be out in the open, very big target there, and there we go. There is the Control K. FoxTermelon just couldn't counter this. Too much going on the map.
It's gonna be game 3, ladies and gentlemen. It couldn't be any other way, because if it was, I honestly would be disappointed. And now I don't care who wins the next game. I just want it to be great. It's going to be Desolatia, so it's going to be a nice micro battle in the center, as we all know it. But who knows, maybe Iron Commander will throw a wrench into that as well. I think he's been playing very interesting strategies today. So we're going to take just a tiny little break, and when we come back, we have the final tiebreak between these two players to see who goes on to the semifinal of the winter final. We'll be right back.
Well, hello. This is going to be game 3 of the finals here. I think, anyway. Definitely game 3. And we're going to be playing on Desolatia, which is a map that I personally like. And I am joined by Spiff here. Say hello, Spiff.
No. It's still me and you, buddy.
Is it still me?
Yes.
Oh my god, I can never tell if it's somebody. Right, okay. That was
he has had it with me. He has had it with Night of Misfortune, guys. He's tired of me. He doesn't want me here anymore, so I'm going to let him handle this whole cast by himself.
All right then. Cool, I guess. Right. Just by myself. All right.
All right. Well, Scotty, you still stuck with me for at least one more game here. Let's introduce our players. Who's playing?
All right, so excuse that little blip there. We have Iron Commander playing as a green Cybern down in the bottom right, and he's going triple land factory opener, and that's a very normal opening from a very pro Supreme Commander player. And we have up in the top left a white Iron Commander that is going to be FoxTermelon, and already he's going to be dirty and go for a shot to rush because he doesn't want to play the game properly. And I honestly think that's honestly a little cruel.
Scotty is calling him out, telling how it is.
Damn, I honestly think that's just dirty. Going for a shot to rush. Look at him. Look at his smug face. He thinks he's going to win. Definitely not.
Yeah, look at
I
that
mean,
smug
I've
face,
got to
guys.
just got to cross my fingers and pray that Iron just pounds him into the dirt, because I am honestly personally offended that he goes shot just at all. But there you go. You play to win when you do these tournaments, so I suppose I can understand that.
Yeah, let's see how Iron chooses to handle this. I think with his opening of this crazy flanks that he does, he's actually at quite a bit of a disadvantage here with his opening. And it's going to be hard to deal with, especially actually FoxTermelon. It might not necessarily be a straight out rush, because he looks like going to be trying to establish a somewhat of a base control here in the center. I mean, I would have liked to see Iron scout this. Usually he sends a one bot straight into the base, but this game, okay, so he is going to be doing that with a scouting bot here. So he will know it's Shadja's. Actually, will he?
I don't know.
Fox,
I think it might be a little
held
late.
fire.
But there's also a flank coming from Iron Commander already. 3 loyalists going for the expansion here. He probably won't see that. So I think that might be a sign that he's going Shotjas, that he's going to be facing Shotjas anyway. And they might actually be doing a bit of damage here to the main base. I mean, those three units can definitely do something here, but oh man, I'm not sure what Iron's planned for this, because Shotjas are just going to tear up this land force, and he's gone triple land. So I think this is going to be very punishing for him, especially seeing as he's got MMLs to deal with as well.
I am literally sitting on the edge of my seat right now. This is going to be incredibly difficult for Iron to deal with, but we've seen some crazy cyber engagement with Shadja's, so who knows, there might be just absolute madness happening here in a couple of seconds. Iron still doesn't know this is Shadja's, so this is not the greatest for our Cyber Commander. Now he knows.
There we go.
Now
Oh
he
man.
knows.
The ACU. Oh no, already at half health. That is insane. And FoxTermelon going straight in there, very overconfident and almost killing it. I mean, that's quarter health. That's a huge amount of damage there. But we've got Iron making short work of that engineer. I'm going to be making work of the rest of the base here. But now Iron's got to think of something fast to try and counter all these Shotjas. He probably will have to go air here. But I don't know if he has enough resources to do that. Oh my god, MMLs on the mass extractors there. FoxTermelon being absolutely dirty here, and does actually get one of them. My goodness, putting on all the pressure here. Oh.
Adapters do make their way out, and I think at least an energy generator. Oh no, energy generator is not going to fall there. I don't think Iron is going to get a whole lot of damage here. And this is looking very, very rough. Even with those adapters, the adapters cannot keep up with the DPS from those mobile missile launchers. And this is already massive amounts of damage for our Aeon player here.
But I don't know. I think FoxTermelon still has a small chance to win this, because the ACU is right in front of him. He just needs to focus it down with the Shotjas. But now they're all going to die because of the loyalists. And I think, is that it already? That might have been quite a fell swoop there. A huge amount of damage being dealt. All those shots just died, and now he's going to have a hard time trying to rebuild the economy back up. I mean, he's going to have to rebuild the 2 energy generators, and he's still going Shotjas. I'm not sure about this play at all. I thought he would have probably changed from that, because now it's no longer as effective. He's going to have some. Iron's going to have some more time to build something else, or at least I would have hoped so. It doesn't look like he's doing anything. I don't think he's actually got enough resources to build an air. But I have no idea. He's managing to get into the base, which is pretty epic. The ACU is right next to FoxTermelon, and he needs to turn around and fire at it. Oh man, Iron Commander is going to be trying to avoid the shots, but he's not. He's just going to manage to escape from that. FoxTermelon taking some damage himself. He's going to be going mega aggressive into Iron's base, and the engineer trying to struggle to get that radar up. Did not succeed, unfortunately. Iron Commander going to be assisting the factory, trying to get some more units out, desperately trying to defend against this Shotja battle. But I don't think he's actually going to be successful. That land factory going to look like it's going to be going down very quickly. Loyalists are going to be packed up against the ACU here, and I think FoxTermelon may have him in a corner. Look at that. Loads of shots just coming from the base here, and he's going to be assaulting that factory very nicely, and I think that's just going to go down quite quickly, and then the ACU from Iron is going to be killed. I think this is game over. Is that what you think as well? I don't think Iron can win it.
this is looking very rough for Iron. Unfortunately, this just Shaja Rush. He didn't find out about it early enough, and unfortunately, he's lost too much. This is a very strong push from Aeon, and it requires just absolutely incredible engagements. And even though I think Iron had a very good engagement there with the Loyalist, the ACU ended up tanking quite a bit there. And yeah, now there's absolutely nothing that Iron can do. And this is going to be GG, and FoxTermelon will move on to the semi-final. Who he will play, I do not know yet. It will be Polar or Zeta yet, but we will see. Iron Commander calls GG. He will not be our winter final champion, unfortunately, but he is an incredible player. His achievements have been ridiculous lately, and I'm sure we will see more of him in the coming months and in future tournaments. Very well played by Iron Commander in that game 2 and even game 1. But it was just a little too much to deal with the Shajas on Desolatia. So we congratulate FoxTermelon in moving on. I hope he does well against his future opponent. And as far as this match, we are going to conclude it. I was joined by Scotty or A Productions. Tell us once again where we can find you, and we'll sign off.
All right, so as the last word from me on this stream, you can find me at Endless Productions Entertainment on YouTube, and you can also find me on Mod Productions on Twitch. So make sure you keep that in mind. I'll also obviously be posting links in the biggest Supreme Commander 2 Discord as well whenever I upload a video or stream. But as for that, you can be able to be expected to see a lot more from me. So with that, I sign off from this.
Awesome, and we might have actually A Productions cast another match in the semifinals, and I don't know if he's going to be casting one of the quarterfinal matches, but we'll decide that, and I think we'll let you know in my Twitch chat, but I'm sure he'll also post it in the Discord, so keep an eye out. But we'll be back with our quarterfinal number 4 very, very soon. It is going to be J-Wix versus Vanity. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. If you're still watching, give a thumbs up to this video. If you liked the video, leave a comment. If you loved the video, please subscribe. And if you are blown away by it, check out my Patreon page. This has been Nite. Take care and peace out.